My primary role on this project is Park Service landscape architect with Glacier National Park, as well as a project manager for the design and construction of this rehabilitation project on the Going to Sun Road. This road has over 7 miles of guard walls. It has over 130 retaining walls. Most of these need some form of help in perpetuating them into the future. That includes either repointing or total reconstruction.
From a geotechnical standpoint, work first began in the 90s and focused on the historic structures, the stone masonry structures, the retaining walls, and guard walls in the park. The team from Western Federal Lands started with a photo reconnaissance and a guard wall and retaining wall inventory program. It was determined that several walls needed repair work immediately, and emergency repairs were implemented right away.
We have 2 primary historic types of stone masonry guard walls. One is a ashlar, which is a full block, pretty massive stones, and the other type is what we call a random rubble, which was actually more historic and was started in 1925 with the Williams and Douglas contract. The random rubble type of stone masonry we have modified so when we are rehabilitating the road we get the historic look, but the interior of it is a reinforced concrete core which helps with the whole safety concern of guard walls in vehicles. The Going to Sun Road marks a historic agreement between the National Park Service and the Bureau of Public Roads, signed in 1926. In this agreement, the Bureau of Public Roads and now Federal Highway Administration was responsible for safety, for quality engineering, and for administrating our contracts. The Park Service's role was primarily resource protection, that's cultural and natural resource, as well as things like landscape architecture. This agreement established the way these contracts in design and construction are administered from that day forward. It also began what we now call or categorize as context-sensitive design, where solutions are found that work with existing conditions and resources, especially cultural resources, that you're trying to perpetuate.
I'm the project manager for Western Federal Lands for Going to the Sun Rehabilitation Road project. My primary duty here at Western Federal Land is to coordinate the engineering disciplines and the team members. Within the team members, we have geotech engineers, hydraulic engineer, programming specialists, contracting specialists, transit specialists, and intelligent transportation specialists, environmental specialists, roadway designers, materials engineer, survey crew, communication team, and a construction staff that actually oversees the day-to-day construction activity at the park.
The groundbreaking road construction project that envisioned and saw through the completion of the Going to the Sun Road also laid the foundation for the planning and management of all future National Park Road building and restoration projects. Every step of the process has been led by team members from both federal agencies.
I'm a designer on the Going to the Sun Road project for Western Federal Lands, and so my job is pretty much to put together what we call PS&E packages, plans, specifications, and estimates for different phases of work on the project. Well, we work with the park a lot to put the plans, specs, and estimates together. It really is a partnership. We do a lot of field reviews, a lot of conference calls. We send them plans in advance and they give us comments. And pretty much at Western, we're responsible for putting the design together, but it's with input from the Park Service.
Since the opening of the road, the National Park Service has installed various types of removable timber guardrails, so avalanches pass over the road without causing damage. However, the original log rails of the 1930s didn't meet current safety standards and encroached too far into the travel lane as larger vehicles began using the road.
Well, my role in this project has been anything to do with structures. So on this job, on the Going to Sun Road, that would involve all of the walls, essentially, the the masonry walls, the concrete walls, the removable guardrail. Over the years, increased emphasis on safety and on measurable safety standards. One of the impacts of that was that where we used to just design something and calculate it by the numbers and say this is strong enough to stop a vehicle, nowadays the requirement is that you actually have to go out and physically crash test. In other words, push a vehicle towards it under controlled conditions, make sure it performs the way that you've intended. So that was the first constraint. And then the second was that we needed a guardrail that would aesthetically fit the location. Everything to do with going to the Sun Road has been very much driven by aesthetics, by historical continuity. The third component that was important was that it would be a rail that could be removed reasonably easily in the fall and reinstalled in the springtime. The reason for that is that several long sections of the Going to the Sun Road are in avalanche chutes, and they get a lot of avalanche damage in the wintertime. So we had to make it strong enough to stop the vehicles, but light enough and maneuverable enough that you could take it out in the wintertime.
Obviously, on any multi-year project, there will be both anticipated challenges and many unforeseen challenges, and the rehabilitation of the Sun Road is no exception to that rule.
We have a very short period of time to reconstruct a road when it has its highest volume of traffic on it. And so we're moving millions of people through this road at the same time we're trying to fix it. And one of the critical partnerships in that relationship and trying to accomplish that is not just Western Federal Lands and the Park Service, but the contractor. And we've been real fortunate here, and we've had very conscientious, productive contractors doing this rehabilitation work for us. And I think as people transit this road, they'll see the quality of that effort.
My role at Federal Highways is oversight of the construction operations, oversight of inspection, and coordination with the National Park Service. The work on the road is very challenging from the aspect that we have a very limited construction season, approximately mid-May to mid-October. You know, the steep terrain, narrow road conditions, a lot of the areas on the upper portions of the road average 20 feet or less, and basically a very constricted work area. Early spring construction there's a high frequency of avalanches on the Going to the Sun Road, and to counter that danger, we've implemented the use of avalanche forecasters to help us in predicting when avalanche dangers increase and when it is safe or not safe to be doing construction work on the Going to the Sun Road.
In November of 2006, we had a terrific storm here that created about $7 million worth of damage. And under the ERFO program, the Emergency Relief for Federally Owned Roads, we were able to partner with Western Federal Land to develop the plans, get them through the appropriate approving processes, and we're able to open this road on July 1st, which is what we had told the public we were going to do. And we couldn't have done that without a strong team partnership with Western Federal.
In delivering a very difficult project like the Going to the Sun Road rehabilitation, creative contracting methods are invaluable.
We used an innovative construction contract method by utilizing an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract. That allowed us to select a contractor based on experience, past performance, and price. It also allows us to award them multiple projects that can be constructed simultaneously. Additionally, this contract allows us to develop a long-term partnership focused on the entire rehabilitation effort, which enables us to refine the construction process, allows for the contractor to provide input and comments during the design process, and allows him to bring new and innovative processes to help reduce costs, improve efficiency, and provide a better product.